Hello, I'm Ivan Navi, and here again. Okay, I want to apologize for the lack of updates on my video blog thing here. The problem is, I live in Southern California, and it's in the middle of summer. In the morning, it gets to be in the hundreds pretty quickly. So, I couldn't have the air conditioner or the fan off without me toasting up. And obviously, if I kept them on, the audio quality would fail a great deal. So, and honestly, it's been a busy summer. Yeah. I wish I could say this won't happen again, but in all odds, it's going to happen again. It's going to happen probably a couple more times. It's just, that's how things are. Life happens. Now, why am I here this time? It's because I have another edition of Hey, Look, Listen. Again, I keep saying that title because I have the sword on the wall and my last name is Navi. I'm going to use that joke. Alright, this time I wanted to talk about something I haven't really discussed on this vlog before. I wanted to talk about a piece of fandom history. Now, before you ask, which fandom? I'm talking about all of them. The start, at the beginning of the age of the internet. Not like it was in the 90s. Okay, so I'm going to tell you how this thing started up for me. A while ago, I was on the internet doing my thing when I came across this post. Someone was complaining about how at the start of a fan fiction, it said, disclaimer, I do not own blah blah blah. I am just a fan. This is a fan-based work. The poster went on to say, why do they post this? Of course, this is a fan fiction. Of course, they don't own any of the things. And I had to go quiet there for a minute. The matter of the fact is, they didn't know. This either shows how old I am or how young the poster was. And honestly, it does me shame as a fan of stuff that, just as a fandom, this little piece of history has been forgotten. I'm talking about the Dark Age. I know there's a term called Dork Age, but no, we're not talking about that. We're talking about a Dark Age for the fandoms. The 90s, the early 2000s sometimes. The years doesn't matter really. I believe it was the 90s. Look, Fan Works. If you've been paying attention, I keep a number of Fan Works on my wall. There's some over there too. I'm a big fan of Fan Works, as I'm sure many of the viewers are. Honestly, I have more posters and drawings and things on the other side I've gotten from artists at conventions. So I'm a big fan. I support them. I read fan fictions. I love them. They're pretty simple to read. I don't have to wait months for a new update. It's fun. But the thing that people don't remember, in the 90s, people got sued for them. And I'm sure a few of you are like, what? But the fact is, people got sued. It's a little history lesson from the old days. It's even before Archive 3, AO3. It was at their start. People were getting sometimes sued because of their fan fictions. It was a number of things, most notably by Anne Rice. Yeah, Interview with the Vampire. It's a popular book and movie. I watched the movie. I read the book. It's all right. I see what you're doing there. Not my favorite thing, but yeah. This is what happened. I'm gonna use this example. There's many different examples, but I'm gonna try to focus on this one for this whole talk. A number of years ago, some fans wrote fan fiction taking place in the world written by Anne Rice. Sometimes it was their own characters in the world. Sometimes it's continuing some stuff by the characters. And they posted it online. They're not making any money off of it. They're just like sharing a story they wrote. And then legal got in there. They literally got deceased and desist letters. Some of them even got fined by lawyers. Like, no, you owe us money. And I wish to say it was just Anne Rice and her people. No, Fox got in on it too. I know that I heard some stories about people who wrote X-File fan fictions getting calls and getting letters from lawyers. This happened to some of the people who wrote stories about Buffy. Oh, it's okay. A lot of the people who write fan fictions are teens, kids, young adults, and most of them don't have money. So you have to imagine how terrifying it is to find a letter or a note from a lawyer and saying, stop what you're doing or we're gonna have to charge you money. It got scary. And a few of these things actually went to court. I'm being completely serious, people. People got in serious trouble over writing fan fiction. Let that sink in. Fan fiction. The other parties would claim that the writer was claiming ownership over these elements and breaking copyright. And you know, I believe in copyright. Yeah, copyright your work. It's your work. You deserve to know it. You deserve to have some control over it, ownership over it even. But these are fan fictions. They're not claiming ownership over them. They're just trying to express their joy and love over the creation, taking their own take on it. But yeah, these things happened, which is why when new websites like AO3 came out or fanfiction.net, people started to put this phrase at the start of their fictions. Disclaimer: we do not own elements from the series or so. We're just a fan work. That was a way to, you know, to make it clear that no writer or anyone is trying to make money or anything off of it. That's why we fan fiction writers have that on their a lot of their posts, yeah. Okay, now things have cooled down a bit on that, so sometimes people don't actually do that anymore. But some of the people still do that because they're afraid that it might happen. And you think you're being silly, that no, the companies know that these are fans doing it. They're supporting your work. They're trying to get the word out. They're trying to get interest in it because they love it. No, again, this is why I feel so bad about that post. People have forgotten. Studios, the publishers, things like these, they don't... It's not even a thing about art. It's because they think they can make money. If you don't believe me that this thing still can happen, pay attention on YouTube. Fair use, remember? It's kind of gone, the noise on this thing has gone down a little, but it's still there. Shows like the Nostalgia Critic, Dragon Ball Z Abridged, Little Karibo's Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged. All these are fan-made things. Nostalgia Critic and his lot are reviewers, and there's the abridging parody makers. Both of these things fall under fair use. Any footage used in a review is fair use. You're just using it to show your points about the thing, movie, TV show, whatnot. It falls under fair use because it's a review. You're not saying you made it. You're just pointing out things from the series, good or bad. And parodies like Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged and Dragon Ball Z Abridged, it's a fan-based parody. It falls under fair use. But studios still complain about it when they use it, getting the videos pulled down and even costing them money. Yeah, again, there's a thing about money here. YouTube makers, they're making the videos. They're doing these things. They're not claiming ownership over it, but they're adding their own stuff. Their own voices, their own opinions, their own script writing. That's different. Writing is just writing. You're posting it. You're not making money off it. This is putting more effort, editing, special effects to make it your own. I'm not going to get into how far is too far or whatnot. These things happen. I'm not a legal minded, and I really can't say at which point this stops being creators work and it becomes fan work, and at which point you can charge money for. But the point is, people do get in trouble for this. I'm not saying stop making fan works. In the contrary, no. Even I'm a fan work. I do write fan fiction, and if I could draw, I would probably do fan art too. The point is, we can't forget about this part of history. Yeah, because it's repeating again. People will repeat it again. Disclaimers are important. Sometimes you gotta do these things. And you gotta keep you have to be a little vigilant, because there are people usually in... Alright, sorry about that obvious edit. Somebody was calling, and I had to go pick up the phone. Yeah. So where was I? Yeah, we can't forget about the disclaimers. They're part of our odd little subculture's history. It's just a reminder that there are people who will try to take advantage of something pretty much innocent and really doesn't bring money. The exceptions are obviously, as like I said, some of those videos. Reviews are kind of fan based, but they're supposed to be unbiased and opinion based, which is a little odd. If I'm not explaining that too well. The point is, reviews like the Nostalgia Critic. There is an element to fandom in there, but it's mostly done as a review. I doubt that everything the Nostalgia Critic reviews is something that's truly his nostalgia, just something that came in theaters a while ago or something. And they're using fair use of the video from the movies or whatnot. Shows like the Dragon Ball Abridged, they are editing the video and everything and turning it into something new. A lot of the fan art, they are taking an idea from another creator and turning it in their own style, in their own themes, putting their own effort in it. And some of you may argue, what exactly is the difference between that and writing your own fan fiction? Oh, yeah, it's a complicated issue, and even I can't say what exactly the difference is. But I think it's creating something yourself. While writing is a little more hard to distinguish because it's written. You're doing it in your own style, but it's still the idea from somebody else. And you're putting your own elements into it, but it's not, I guess it's not different enough. If that makes any sense. Honestly, that's the problem when it gets to lawyers and everything. It's so hard to argue that it's truly something different when it's clearly based on something else. And they can make the argument that it's not that different. Well, and that brings me to my final point about the fan fiction and fan art and everything. The creators. Obviously, they create characters and things that people enjoy, but do they have a right to say if it's a good thing or a bad thing? It does make a hard point, right? Because if you're a creator and you see someone portraying your character in a way you don't like or you can't stand, it's obviously you do have some voice in it, the matter. But and fan works are very independent from their creation. It's a debate here. But I took the liberty of looking up some things, and some writers do actually encourage fans to write. J.K. Rowling has gone on record saying she was flattered that people wanted to write their own stories based on her fictional characters. Stephanie Meyers, though I have my qualms about the woman and her writings, goes out of her way and puts links on her website to where there are fan fictions about her characters. Hell, even 50 Shades is actually based on her works. She seems kind of flattered that something like that happened. And here's Orson Scott Card. You may know him as the writer for the Ender's Game series. if you're wondering why am I making this face, is because I know about his books. I've never had a chance to read them, and I don't intend to. It's not that they're bad, per se, maybe a bit grim and pessimistic, but a lot of people say it's actually clever writing. His own personal life is what puts me at odds here. But I will, for simplicity's sake, just say some of his opinions on fan fiction. It was stated on his website, and I'm quoting here, "To write fiction using my characters is morally identical to moving into my house without invitation and throwing out my family." Later on, he changed his mind by stating and arguing that and he said this to the Wall Street Journal, that every piece of fan fiction is an ad for my book. What kind of an idiot would I be to want that to disappear? Yeah, I feel weird about agreeing with somebody that I particularly don't like, but he makes a point. A lot of this is just kind of comes off as ad. People liking your stories and want to continue it on, which seems good, but there are other writers who have made other arguments about it. George R.R. Martin, who you might know as, the writer for the Game of Thrones, was selected by Times Magazine as 2011's one of the, top writers for 2011. A Song of Ice and Fire was very popular back then. And he was very opposed to fan fiction, believing it to be copyright infringement and a bad exercise for aspiring writers. Sharon Lee, Stephen Miller, others have agreed with him that they don't want people interpreting their characters in different ways. Not maybe because it's different from their saying, but they don't see the characters behaving in that sort of manner. And that's why it makes it such a complicated issue. They are the creators of these characters. They certainly do have a say in how these characters are portrayed. So do they get the final say? I don't know. Look, if somebody was going to make fan works of my things, I would be pretty okay with it. If it's in another medium, like you're drawing things, fine. Go ahead, make some money off of that. If you want to be nice, send me something. I won't complain if you don't, but hey, it'd be nice. If you're writing your own fan fictions, if you're not making any money, go ahead, share the love. But I can certainly see why other writers would have opposing opinions. But I don't, if I have to put my own opinion out there, I don't think you should sue people if they write fan fictions. I'm kind of in the mind that the fans are pretty much doing advertisement for you. They're saying, here's something I love. I'm taking my own take at it and putting it out there. And I think that's pretty awesome. And I know this thing has been long and rambling, but I like fan fiction. I like fan art. I like people doing videos about things they love. And I think it's pretty amazing. And it's a little upsetting for me when I see, sometimes it's actually the creators, sometimes it's people in legal departments that work for with these writers and creators and whatnot, who are trying to make a buck or so. And it can be a little upsetting. As a fan and a creator, you see why I might be a little torn on this subject. Alright, I'm gonna wrap this up. It's getting hot in here and I'm already more than a little rambly. And I'm gonna have to edit some of this video because of the abrupt cut in the middle. Alright, I've been Ivan Navi, and thank you for listening to me ramble about fandoms and copyrights and all this stuff. I know it was kind of a mess, but if you made it to the end, thank you. Alright, if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at Storyteller Navi, all one word. The link will be down below, along with my website. What else? If I have anything else to say is that I am planning something. And I don't want to talk about it yet until I've got more done. So hopefully you'll see some of that soon. And I know another Loot Crate video is going to be up soon because they sent me the link to my tracking number soon. So yeah, that should be coming out soon. So if you like those videos, I'll have one up soon enough. I'll try to be more up, try to do one a week again, but it's been hot and I have to keep everything off while filming these, and it's just kind of I'm afraid of dehydrating. Okay, anyway, thank you for listening, and until next time, I'm Navi, and I am out.